All right, so we're gonna bring the DSM in. I haven't started this car since it's been here. And it surprisingly does run. Tachyon signal's all goofy though. And it does run like complete dog shit. So as you can see, we have the turbo manifold and all that removed. So here's something really fun here, is that the dipstick doesn't dipstick. So here we are on the Eclipse. We ended up removing the turbo completely. Here's the factory O2 housing. So I just wanted to kind of go over this really quick here. So on Subaru stuff, you have an up pipe. And the wastegate, you know, when you go external gate, it's on the up pipe. So essentially it would be in between the turbo and the manifold. On the DSM, on the other hand, we're putting the wastegate on the O2 housing. So O2 housing is here, and it's split. The housing is split into two sections here. So we're going to have, as you can see, this is divided, is what I meant to say. So as you can see, this is divided, and this is the hole for the wastegate. So our wastegate is going to be on this portion right here. And so what we've got to do is we've got to remove the internal wastegate flap altogether. So we're gonna unbolt the wastegate, get rid of it, and then we're gonna take the flapper out. Now you can't block it off because we've got to let the exhaust flow bleed out from this port. So we'll basically take the flapper out. We'll weld this hole shut. Whether we weld it or tap it and thread it in, I don't know. That's up to Jeremiah. But we'll essentially remove the flapper altogether. And if it allows, what we may end up doing is porting the internal flapper. So the internal flapper, I don't know what the actual measurement of it is. We'll cut this out. We'll measure it out. And the new gate, though, that we have is a Turbo Smart 40. So ideally, if there's enough meat here to cut this open to match the valve on the inside, that would be good. So this is a China charger here, obviously, but I think it's modeled after the Evo 3 16G is what I think it is. What's real concerning about this though, is that, well, it's a China charger. I don't know how well it's going to last. Hopefully it does last, because I would really hate for the guy to do all this work here and then this turbo not be good. The good news though is that touching inside of it, I don't know if this turbo is new or what, but it has a good bit of resistance on it. It's not anything crazy, but there is a good bit of resistance on it. It doesn't spin as nice as I'd like. And this feels like carbon deposit, which is good because it doesn't feel oily. So here's a quick before of the DSM turbo here. So we're going to try to port this a little bit, see how much material is left there. We're going to lob the flapper off today and seal this shut. And then we've got our divided O2 housing here. So this is definitely going to have to go to the machine shop because it is not perfectly straight. Not a big deal. So we're going to lob this off here, weld the Turbo Smart gate to this, and then that should be that. This is the bolt that was already broken, the stud?
Yeah, piece of it that was in there. And I got my broken piece of extractor out too.
Fun times. All right, Jeremiah was able to get this time started for us, so that's good and there. All right, so I got a spark plug out of the E-clips here. It looks pretty bad. These are heat range 6 plugs, so I'm going to order some new plugs for this thing. Ooh, and this fuel smells old. So yeah, it's got that junkyard fuel smell to it. So there's a good chance that we're going to be just making a quick and dirty tune to get, Jesus, that smells bad, just to get this fuel out of it. Surprised that it even ran. It makes sense though, because with bad fuel, you really have to like make the car super rich to get it to burn. Okay, so we're going to order some stuff for the Eclipse, some fluid stuff, some new spark plugs as well, and then we will get it set it all up. We've got the wastegate on, O2 sensor. Next time, if we have to make one of these, we're gonna clock this a little bit more for clearance. It's real tight right here, but overall it's still on. The Haltech wideband is installed, and now we're just smoking it to see if we have any vacuum leaks, and then we'll get started. We got some smoke coming out of here. Lundy, it's the intercooler. So we got some smoke in here off the intercooler. Oh, yeah, there's some more off this pipe too, I think. Oh, yeah, I can see that. Anyways, so we've got the Haltech boost controller that we're going to install here. So this is basically it, and it goes on like that. So now I want to talk about wastegate planning here really quick. And so normally I do this type here, which is external wastegate, and it's a high boost setup. This car is not going to be making that much steam, so we're probably just going to do the low setup here, which also mirrors the internal wastegate diagram here. It's already got a 14-pound spring. So this is the low boost setup. This is going to go into a boost source, and this will go into the wastegate, and then we have the filter here. I actually found a nice little spot where the factory chassis was tapped with the right thread pitch, so that's where the vibration mount's going to go. So we'll walk out here. And so you can see that there's this nice little threaded hole on the frame rail. That was a perfect thread pitch, so that's where it's going to go. I threw the intake on. We're going to change this intake though, but I just wanted to throw it on just to check for clearance, and all that looks good. I didn't want to go ahead, so we're going to go ahead and just install the boost control there. It works out because the factory solenoid is right down here, so the wiring is pretty dang close. We're going to cut this off and we'll put a DT connector. I've got to verify that the Haltech runs the boost control solenoid through that first though before I do anything, but that looks real promising there. All right, so we've got DT connectors here that's supplied with the kit. These are closed barrel DTs. So fortunately enough, iWis sent us over their whole crimp set. And we're gonna go ahead and get started on using this guy. So this is for 20 and 22 gauge, which is what this is. Let's verify that really quick. So we're gonna simply verify that. Don't worry about the length right now because we are gonna be shortening this down quite a bit. So we need this one. Since it has a nice little display case, we're gonna put this one up because we're done using it. And I have a nasty habit of putting stuff down and forgetting about it. I think I spend probably 30% of my time working. And when I say working, I mean finding stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and shorten this down just because of the location of where the factory boost controller is. We don't really need it that long. So I'm gonna say probably like that. Hopefully that's right. If not, we're gonna have to extend some wires, which I hope we don't have to. So we'll go ahead and we'll strip these really quick. Boop. So it's pretty simple. We just take these and drop it down. And then we're gonna just slide the terminal in. And this terminal is actually just a hair too long. Give that a squeeze. There you go. Nice, simple, easy. Since we know this side was just a hair too long, we're just gonna trim this down just a hair, and we're gonna do this all over again. So make sure that you've got the right terminal. So we got the male terminals here. And it's just as simple as taking this, jamming it down. You can see it drop through. We're gonna take our wire, make sure that it's butted up against the insulation, and just give it a nice squeeze. Squeeze is done. Nice and tight there. And we are going to go ahead and slide this into the respective terminals. All right, easy peasy. Now all we've got to do is just drop in, grab some needle nose pliers to drop in our retainer here. And we should be good to go. So I used their other tool that's included in the kit to push down and get the retainer back in its place. And so as you can see, nice crimped, solid connection. It's not going anywhere with our Haltech boost controller on our DSM. So now we've got to just go do the other side, but it's essentially the same thing. So we grab our baggie here and our tools. Okay, so the car is using an Evo 4 to 8 ECU plug and play adapter. I mean, we've done Evo ECU swaps over to 2Gs before. It's been a long time, so I don't remember. But I wanted to check. This is the 2G ECU pin out here. And so looking at the 2G ECU pin out, pin 11 is for the wastegate solenoid, and here is an Evo 8 connector. And if you look, pin 11 also is the wastegate solenoid here. So that tells me that it obviously is wired the same, so we can not deal with that. So we'll be able to cut the factory connector and then wire in the new one, and then we're good to go there. The next thing is, according to Haltech, the IAT sensor is built into the map like a lot of other cars. And so with that being said, you can just wire it in, and I have it here somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. Oh, here we go. So if you look into the MAF connector, it tells you that pin 5 and pin 6 are for the IAT. And I checked those colors do check out. So we're just going to check pin position, and that should be good, and I can start wiring all that up. Okay, so this is 20 gauge wire. Here's the iCrimp IWC 1424 Alpha, which was sponsored to us. So we're going to give this a shot. Nope, a little bit on the loose side here, so definitely not the right ones. Oh, okay, there it is. So yep, nice little crimp there. Go ahead and do the retainer side of it. So these you got to be careful. I did a little bit too hard, so let's put a bend in it. And when you do get a bend in it, you got to straighten it out. If you don't, it's definitely gonna get caught. So let's slide this sucker in here and hope that we are good to go. There you go. You hear that nice little click. So we're good to go on that. Go ahead and close the guard on it, and there you go. Nice simple crimp, ready to rock. So we got the IAT crimped in, as you guys saw, and then we've got it in here. So this is the MAF harness. The MAF harness used to be here, and I was able to snake it back through here. And so we just need to basically wire it up. So I'm gonna tap it into the factory MAF harness here and leave it a little bit long, so that way we have some wire routing. But that's basically where we're going to be at. So the ends are staggered, and I cut the wire staggered here as well. That way when I go to wrap this up, it's not everything is super close. I've got to trim this down just a hair more though on the red and blue side, and then that'll all line up. And like I said, when I go to tape this all up, it's not going to make it, it'll make a bulge still, but it won't be like a crazy large one, because you know we love large bulges here. Don't have the wideband hooked up, don't really care. So read from device, discard, loading framework. Now I gotta refresh my memory on Haltech. Should be here, should be here. Boop boop. Injector impedance. I don't know what the injector impedance is, but this is the map that the car was running on anyways. So.
Okay.
So either we have a vacuum leak.
Yeah.
Because the manifold pressure is really high.
Oh, okay.
But, or we don't have a good vacuum source. Come on. All right, well, this vacuum line's not coming off.
Oh, that goes straight to the ECU.
Correct.
The vacuum line. Wow.
But I don't know, it sounds like it actually has cams and stuff, but oh yeah, it's mighty rich.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna pick an arbitrary number here, like 30.
And then you just go down or up from there.
Well, there's more to it because it probably has upgraded injectors.
Oh, okay.
Because the VE table is really, really low. So there's a really good chance it's got some type of upgraded injectors. And the problem is I bet you the owner doesn't know
What kind of injectors it is.
Correct. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna step out and not die from smoke. So we have this ported into here, so it may not just have enough vacuum coming off of this. Yeah, there's hardly any vacuum coming off this line.
Okay.
So there's decent vacuum coming off of this, but it's far too small. So we're just gonna take it from the valve cover temporarily, and as you can see, the car stalled.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because now the map reading is
Way off, yeah.
yeah. Now if we can just jam this in there. Come on. All right, let's go try that again. Ow. Oh. What's that?
That black one you just put in goes into the back?
Yeah, that's the one that I try to pull out here,
Okay.
but I'm not strong. So. All right, so we're gonna put this back to 30. Okay, so. so it likes 50, which is,
Sounds good.
yeah, it's not right though.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna bring it down a little bit. Just kind of give it a listen. $40 seems to be the magic number for now.
Yeah.
So now I just got to find out if he's got upgraded injectors or not.
How would you do that? Just ask him?
Yeah. Basically, we're just going to ask him. Erase DTCs. Wideband timeout. Okay. So that tells me intake air temp is working. Wideband's not working though, so
Yeah.
obviously we know that because it's not
Not plugged in.
right? Let's change this number to 50. Okay, so that's not bad for now. That's good for now. Just to get it not to foul out the plugs like it did earlier.
Because it's going rich, huh?
Yeah. Okay, 40 is the magic number. It likes 40. So we'll leave it at 40. We'll get the wideband hooked up tomorrow. And then we'll go ahead. We'll get the wideband hooked up tomorrow. We'll sync timing. And then that should be it.